In this last tutorial on conditionals, what we're going to work with is a fairly simple thing. It's actually just going to be toggles. Now, we've got two different ways to do toggles. We can do toggles based upon being in a location of a movie clip, or toggles based upon a variable. So let's go ahead and try it out. Our first toggle here just goes on and off. Pretty simple. Our other toggle has an on section there and then an off section there. So what we're going to do is just create some pretty simple statements down here. So we'll go to the toggle button. That'll be the first one. And we need a function and event listener. So I'm going to just copy the last one that I have here because it'll work just great for what I need. Let me expand that out. So what we're going to do is, let's say toggle. So function, this is toggle btn. Toggle button, yeah, that'll be it. Toggle button. That makes sense. So we're going to use toggle button, and that will happen when we click on the right thing. So I'm going to move that over. Oh, I need to go back to reset this so I can see this. That is going to be the toggles2_mc. So let me go down to my script to the bottom here, and it says when I click on toggle2_mc, we are going to click or run the function called toggle button, and there's that function called toggle button. Now we've got some if statements with some code in here, and we don't really need all that right now, but it's really easy. So what we're going to do is say if it's in frame 2, go to frame 1. So if toggle2_mc current frame equals 1, then let's go to toggle and go to and stop. Go to and stop frame 2. Really easy. Now, if it is not, then all we have to do is tell it to go to frame 1. So let's make sure that that code is correct. So all this says is if toggle2_mc is in frame 1, go to frame 2. Else, if it's not, which means it's in frame 2, then it will go to and stop frame 1. And that's pretty much as simple as it gets. Very simple toggle button. Now, another way to do a conditional is, instead of checking the state of something, is to have a variable that you create. So let's copy this, and we'll call it toggle light. And let's find out what the name of that movie clip is for that light bulb. That is the light1_mc. So it means that we are going to have light1_mc is what we're going to be clicking on. And what we're going to do is actually create a variable. So this will be var light on, and we'll call this a Boolean because that way it can be either true or false. And we're going to start it off as false. And the reason why is because currently it's not on. Then what we're going to do is say if the light on equals false, light on, here we go, take that out. If the light on equals false, then what we're going to do is tell that light to go to and play. Let's see, we need to go to the light underscore MC. We need to tell the light to go to and play on. So that way we'll tell it to go on and play. Else what we do is tell it to go to and play off, because that means that it's on, off. Now, what we have to do is we have to change things. So here's where things get a little bit funky. Because the problem is that if we have it go to on, then we need to then change the value of that so that it is now off. Or it's now on, sorry. So that light on will now equal on. Now, what will happen is, if it is, let's see, if the light is false, then it will go to and play on and change it to on. Then, so what happens here, we really need to repeat all of this again, because we really need else if it's on, let's change it to off. So now, instead, if light on equals true, let's change it, let's go to off, and let's change the value back to off. And we don't really have an off value, because we have to have both of these, else and else if, because we need to say if the light equals false, then go on and turn the value to on, else if it equals true, then take it to off and turn the value to off. So let's make sure that everything there is ready to go, and let's see if it works. Okay, I think I know what it is. Light on equals on. I need to change those to actual real what are these things? False. They need to be Booleans, not on and off. So light on will now equal true, light on will equal false. Let's see if that now works. Okay, we have one thing that we're probably doing here, and that is I probably just have to change these, because they shouldn't be strings. I always forget to do things. Yeah, there we go. So we just have to take our light on equals false. We just take out the strings everywhere, because the only strings we really need are the on and off sections that we're going to of the light one underscore MC. Otherwise, everything else is just a Boolean, which is a keyword that's either false or true, and it doesn't have any strings around it. You could base it upon a value, meaning that you could have a string there that you're checking for, and that would work as well. But you can see now that's turning that on and off, and that's toggling the other light on and off. And we're using two methods. On the first one, we're using the method that finds out what is the current location in the movie currently. And in the other one, we're finding out what the current value of a variable is. And with that method, the second method, the nice thing about it is that you can use that for all sorts of different things, because you can create a variable for just about anything, and you can check a condition for that variable at any time that you want. And if you need to change the variable, you can change the variable and then check a condition about what it's been changed to. So it's a very flexible way of doing things when you use a variable, because it can go into all sorts of stuff. Whereas you might not have a value like current frame for every single instance. It works great for this particular item, but not great for items that have much more complex timelines. I think that concludes everything about using conditional statements. So let me know if you have any questions. I know it's a lot of code, but a little bit of exploration in this can do us a lot of good, because conditional statements are very useful for us being able to do programming, because it allows us to find true and false values for conditions that we're testing for, and then run an action or set of actions based upon that value, whether it's true or false. And that can be extremely powerful in programming. So I think that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, and of course, go on and finish the rest of the file.